This Liberty Sports Update is brought to you by Beacon Credit Union.
Obviously, to get our first win here against a very, very good football team in the FBS level, the Group of Five MAC champions from last year, I think is obviously it's a momentum builder. It's a step in the right direction of where we want to go and where we want to be. We have to challenge ourselves now to see if we can find the consistency in preparation and the focus that we had last week. I knew our kids were locked in when I got to practice on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then for the first time was able to go through my normal routine at the hotel with them, which I think was big. I think we do some neat things there that really make sure I have a meeting with the entire offense, and then I do some things with the team at the hotel. And this was the first weekend we were able to do all that and make sure our kids understand the plan. And then obviously being on the sideline was good for me. I don't know if it made a difference in how we played or not, but I do know that I felt more alive and more involved and better able to serve our team somewhat. So really pleased with a lot of things, but then there's a lot of things that we've got to improve. We've got to do a better job of stopping the run. I thought we were excellent against the pass. Those young kids are, when I looked out there one time, we had 7 true freshmen on the field. The entire secondary was all true freshmen, and I thought they held their own and did really well in defending the pass. We were shorthanded at linebacker with injuries, and we've got to get some kids healthy and hopefully remain healthy, throughout this stretch run here, at least until the open week. And so hopefully we can get some of those kids back and get some positive results from some of the exams that some will have this week, so we can be healthy. Obviously at home again, love that. Love having our home crowd, our students. It's fun to be at home and playing a very athletic Hampton team. Robert Prunty, I know him from recruiting all of his kids when he was at Hargrave, and he does a heck of a job. He's a great defensive coach. I think defensively their strengths are up front. I mean, they're very disruptive, athletic. They have 12 Division I transfers. Athletically, on defense at corner, and really disruptive inside in their defensive tackle positions. And offensively, I've had first-hand knowledge of Francois, so I'll say that. We're beating them by 3 touchdowns at halftime, and Francois comes in as a freshman in the second half and brings them back, and they end up beating us in that one of those kickoff classics in Orlando. So I've seen him firsthand. I know exactly how talented he is. He can spin it, he can run, and they have athletic wide receivers. And McKenzie, the running back transfer from Virginia Tech, is very, very talented. So it's an athletic team. Coming off of a win, as a coach, you're always, my message to our team yesterday was the truth about the game, the positives and the negatives. Way too many penalties it just drives me crazy. The teams, I'm used to having 4 and 5 penalties a game. That's where I want to be, and we had 9 penalties for 85 yards. That is way too many. 2 of them were selfish penalties, which really irritate me. That's really I was afraid I was going to be too emotional on the sideline, and I was a little bit maybe at one time, but we can't tolerate that. That just drives me crazy. But I'm proud. I didn't say a word to a kid about a drop pass or a missed tackle, and because that's I'll just play the next play on those. But selfish things we can't. And so we had 2 of those, and then 2 of the pass interferences I kind of, I would send in if I got to find out if we have a way to do that, because 2 of them I think our kids were in great position and did a great job, and just would love to hear the explanation, as to why. But the others were legit calls. But we've got to get the penalties down. We've got to stop the rush better, and offensively, when you look at our I really slowed it down. I think we I was proud of the way we rushed the football at the end of the game to put it away to victory formation. That's always when you can do that in a 4-minute offense, it's really good. And when you initially look at the rushing offense, I was like, dang, we only rushed for that. But then when you watch the film, you're like, well, if we'd have handed this one off, we had a play here, but we threw it for a 11-yard gain, and that's who we are. And so you have to and then at the end, though, everything was automatic handoffs, no throws, and we were able to rush it effectively. So I'm not quite sure how I feel, about our rush game. Did we improve it or not? I know there were at least 3 times if we hand the ball off, there's a clear lane to run through. So, and then again, we finished it off rushing the ball when we had to. So those are some positives. But so we've got to continue to see kind of where we are in that. I do think we can throw and catch. Obviously, Buckshot was 23 of 30, and the big thing, 0 picks. Really should have been 26 of 30 if his mechanics were right and on time. There's 3 balls that he has very much he should make. He makes them all the time. For some reason, his footwork gets off and he's a little late, but he should have been 26 of 30 with 0 picks. So Jesse Lemonade was incredible. I mean, incredible. The kid that he went against was all MAC last year, and I mean he really just was disruptive and won his one-on-ones a lot. And I've already spoke of the secondary and the job I thought they did. I thought Micah Glaze was physical, and that's his first. He's now healthy. He hadn't been healthy until now. So anyway, I could highlight a lot of those young kids. Kentrell is he's one of the most competitive freshmen I've ever coached. I just love that about him, that he just wants to compete, and so pleased, but not satisfied, but pleased.
Coach, how did you feel physically after the game on Saturday and then going into Sunday?
Yeah, I came in Sunday and did all of did the Sunday. We have all these sayings, but Sunday's about the truth. So I wanted to do that with our staff first, and then our team, and then we had official visits here. So I had to meet with 4 of those kids and families, and then as soon as I got through with the truth with our staff and team, I went and rested. I was hurting some. I was a little concerned, but I got on the phone with Dr. Elagala, and he said, I expect that as long as it's not spasms, and so it's not that. And, I'm pleased with how I feel today. I feel better today than I did yesterday, and I think it's just going to continue to get better. And just got back from, again, the infection part, and the markers are great. He says just, everything looks good there. 27th is a big day. They'll do the last MRI, and hopefully I can get this thing out of my arm and get back to normal after that. But I think everything feels, I'm walking better, not in pain. At the end of the day, if I have sat a lot, it stiffens it up. But I'm doing good. Thankful, really thankful, and appreciate all the prayers.
Is it fair to say that Hampton coming in here is not a typical FCS team with all the transfers that you mentioned, especially at quarterback?
Yeah, man, I've learned. I've never been on to, I learned in my 6 years as head coach that it doesn't matter about this FCS label. My team gets momentum and has athletes like they have. I mean, go ask Georgia Tech or Virginia Tech. It doesn't matter what you consider them, typical, non-typical. I know that they have receivers, running backs, and a quarterback that at any moment can score a touchdown. And they have 2 defensive tackles and corners that can guard and that can be disruptive. And we've struggled some interior with those athletic big defensive linemen. So I don't put a label on. To me, they're the next opponent, and we better prepare just like we have or will be and very disappointed in the result, I'm sure, because it's a scary team. And, even when you do the right things defensively against this team, Francois still can. The great thing is we've got Malik Willis here, and he will be a very, very good test for our defense to even we won't tackle him live, but you'll be able to see, look, even though we had everybody fit, we still didn't make a play on the quarterback. And we've struggled with that some. So, scary game.
Robert Prunty was telling me this morning your relationship goes back to when you were a high school coach and he was at Hargrave and trying to get your guys out of Memphis to come up there for a year. What's that relationship been like for the two of you? And as he's gone from, head assistant coaches, Texas Tech, Cincinnati, East Carolina, to now being at Hampton?
Yeah, I haven't talked to him in a while. I'll text him this week and just make sure he knows if he needs anything. I've always enjoyed the time I spent around Coach Prunty. He's a neat guy, and he's a passionate football coach, and he's done well for a lot of kids in helping them get to where they are. I mean, there's a lot of kids that owe him a lot, and then obviously to watch him move up, and I'm proud for him, and he's a heck of a coach and heck of a guy.
On tape so far from Hampton and Francois, does he remind you of what you saw as a true freshman?
Oh yeah, that ball comes out of his hands. It's pure. It's his mechanics are great. He throws a great ball, and is very athletic. He's a scary guy to play.
Going back to that, what are your recollections of that game that you coached against him?
That how it got away from us was very disappointing. We turned it over 3 times in the second half, but he stood in that pocket and we were hitting him, and he was making throws. That's what stands out. I remember vividly us, being one step and drilling him and him just making a throw that's right on the money, right on. Obviously, they had great receivers at Florida State also, but he made throw after throw after throw after throw in that second half in critical downs, that really, really gave them the win. And so I've seen it. No one has to tell me. I don't have to watch film. I've witnessed it live.
You have an update on Michael Bollinger, who was carted off in the first half, and then Frankie Hickson, who had that scary situation there.
Man, just breaks. The worst part of coaching is seeing kids work so hard and then have injuries. And Bollinger was coming on for us. He really was doing some neat things, and probably was the most physical guy we had in our short yardage and in our 12 personnel package. He had put himself in a position where he was in that starting group, obviously catching the first touchdown, and it's a broken, fractured leg. He's done for the year, and just hate that for him, and we'll miss him. It's hard to, it's we're thin, and then you lose a kid like that can do some things for us that are really helping us. It's disappointing. I hate it. He's having surgery today, actually, to put a plate in right about now. So disappointing for him and his family. Great things. He does have a red shirt left, and so we can use that. He hadn't played in more than 4 games, so we'll use his redshirt year, but sure hate it for him. Let's see, Frankie was I was scared like the rest of you guys, and then we get out there, and I think it was a wrist injury or something that hurt him. I don't know. I said, dude, don't lay on that field like that if your wrist is hurt, man. You're scared everybody to death. So I think he's going to be fine. I'm trying to think. We had another concussion, Braden Mundy. We'll go through the concussion protocol. And he was playing well, too, that game. The scariest one probably is Bejour. He's having an MRI today on his foot, and we're prayerful that it's nothing serious there, because that'd be a huge loss. He's really good. He's one of the better corners I've ever coached at any level.
Coach, you mentioned Coach Prunty's prowess as a defensive coach. Yeah. Anything in particular that he's known for defensive-wise that might present problems for you guys Saturday?
I think he was a D-line guy, and I just remember, whether he was the D-line coach for Coach Tuberville or even at Hargrave, I mean, his defensive line was always just so disruptive. And they're always on the move, and they can make you look bad, and they can create negative plays. And that's what I kind of think of when you say his name as a coach is, man, that you can expect that the D-line play is going to be very good.
You had said last week that being able to look Buckshot in the eye was going to be a big chance for improvement for him. It certainly seemed that way. I mean, what were the advantages to be able to look him eye to eye after some drives?
So I feel good about the last 2 weeks. I'm able to go through the first drive with him eye to eye, and those have worked out pretty well. Those have been efficient, but after that, I don't plan every drive. I've kind of got some ideas, but what really happened, as soon as he would come over there and I could just be right there eye to eye with him, and I say this is what I'm thinking, I can look immediately and know if this guy's confident in that or he's not. And it does not matter if I think it's the greatest call if he's not confident in it. And I can tell by looking him in the eyes. I see it. I say, I got it. Now you don't have to say a word. It's not a good play. It's out. Because there was two things that I know we had, and he wouldn't take them. And when he came over, I would say, tell me what's going on. Why do you not like this particular RPO off this look? And he told me why, and I said, good. It's not called again. It was there, and it could have been good, but we're not calling it again. I'm going to call the two that you feel comfortable with. And that's what we did. And so whereas if I'm up top, I'm just seeing it's there, call it again. And I got a quarterback down there that I don't like this. And so when you're sitting there eye to eye with him, hey, I'm thinking about this as the next shot play we're going to take. Tell me again what I've taught you, or what Coach Austin has taught you. Tell me, talk me through it. We're fixing to take a shot right here to AGG the next time we get the ball on this little pump route. But tell me do I need to yellow it and me tell you his thumbs up, or do you know what you're doing if they present a certain coverage on the back side of it? Because we're not just going to take it if it's not there. And so we're able to talk through things like that. Can you do that on the phone? Yes. But is it the same? No, not to me. So I don't know if that was the reason he played better or not. Coach Austin is doing a great job with working his footwork, which has been a big problem. And the protection got a little better after the second series was bad. But, we had a 7-man protection, and we had 2 guys that just totally whiffed. And so that's not Buckshot. There's nothing he could do. But after that, it got a little better. We moved the pocket a little more for him. He did some heck of a he really found his check down twice in the game that I know that continued drives, and whereas maybe the last 2 weeks it's sacks and it's 2nd and 15, and one was a 3rd down play right here on this sideline. I know that he really did a good job on a little naked, and they had pressure, and he got depth and got away from it. We got a 1st down. So he's starting to understand those things better that I hope, but that's just one game, small sample.
You coach some incredible receivers at the collegiate level. Mm-hmm. Having that to kind of gauge what you see now here, AGG, can you give us an idea of just the dominance that we're seeing from him and where you think he can still continue to improve?
He's got to improve on his releases, really. The best athletes in the world, to me, are NFL corners. Those are probably the best athletes. You could put that athlete there against any other sport and just say pure athletic ability, change of direction, short area quickness. Those are probably the best athletes, or some of the best athletes in the world. And so, I just think that is the big question always with the big receivers I've had, and I love big receivers. And, I could go down the list from Dante Moncrief to Quincy Attaboy Joe to Laquan Treadwell to A.J. Brown, D.K. Metcalf, who are all doing well. But really, the small difference is right now, Metcalf yesterday is getting separation from those guys, and where maybe some of those I mentioned are not as well, and that's going to be the deal. He is an NFL player, and he's going to have his opportunity, and we've got to make sure he's as prepared as possible when the time comes for that. Because the 50-50 balls, he's going to win a large percentage of them. I'm not worried about him running a fade route or a post route, or I'm not worried what he's going to clock in the 40. Jerry Rice was 4.67. I'm not concerned. It's just the little things of the separation that he's got to be able to get from these athletic guys that they have in the league.